Today, we are going to try and hit 6 gigahertz all core with this guy right here. The EK Quantum Delta Cryo Thermoelectric over 9,000, but not really, it's actually below zero quantum physics tech. So, for those of you who've been following me for a couple of years now, you know that I am no stranger to the sub-zero quantum technology. Alright, if you're new here or you don't know what the hell this thing is, let me just get this out of the way. Do not buy this thing. It is an absolute dumpster fire. This is not a gaming product whatsoever. This is... I don't know what this is. This is like... is something you buy if you, like, it's fun. That's what it is. It's just something that's fun, okay? Basically what this thing is it has a hot side and a cold side, okay? The cold side goes on top of your CPU. It cools it to sub-ambient temperatures. Now the other side, the hot side, that's the side that you would cool normally with like your 360mm radiator, etc. Now that's the gist of it, right? But it's more complicated than that. You have no way to stress test your overclocks to confirm if they're stable with this thing. The reason why this thing is such a bitch to get stable is because A, you cannot turn it on when the PC turns on in the BIOS. And 2, this thing will pull about 250 watts from a PCIe cable, right? Now, let's say optimistically it has about a 200 watt cooling capacity, right? Those of you that have stress tested your system before, you know that a 13900K, even when it's reduced down to 8 cores, like no E cores, it blows past 200 watts under a stress test. So when you're stress testing a system over a long period of time, say 24 hours for a memory stress test, this thing will get completely overwhelmed and overheat the entire system, and you'll get a blue screen, right? So you cannot use this thing to validate your overclocks. This is kind of like a in addition to. So if you were to buy this thing, how would you make it work? Well, I have a plan. Now, we're gonna see if the plan pans out together. So how am I gonna do this? Step 1, we're gonna overclock the memory and the CPU as far as we can take it in this kind of non-final form, okay? This isn't even my final form. This is how I would run it normally, okay? This thing in here in the middle is a super cool direct die kit. Over here, 8,000 megahertz sticks of RAM with some bits power coolers on them, right? Then we're gonna stress test it for 24 hours to make sure that it's stable like this, okay? Then the goal is, once I know the memory is stable and the CPU cores are stable, I'm gonna install the TEC cooler afterwards. That way I know it's not gonna interfere with anything. So basically what I'm telling you is if you wanna get the TEC cooler running properly, you have to overclock your entire system with a direct die setup before you install this thing. Yeah. Now let's quickly just see what's inside the box here. But before that, this video was brought to you by the supporters of the channel. EK did not send me this product. My supporters bought it for me for the fun of a video, so I can call it dog shit all I want. So if you enjoy watching me call products dog shit and you want more of that, head on over to the website framechasers.org, become a supporter, get access to the Discord, and help contribute the funds to buy stuff like this for unbiased reviews. So yeah, check this out. This has been sitting in EK's warehouse for so long that the laminate is like, it's already starting to peel off because nobody's buying these things, right? This is not a gaming product. This is a hardware enthusiast funsies weekend project product, you know what I'm saying? So you can tell that's why it was on sale. That's why I bought it, right? You'd have to be out of your mind to pay full price for this thing, or what EK was charging for it, or what they thought they could charge for it, right? So speaking of YOLOing, let's proceed with phase 1, okay? Let's go upstairs, let's take this configuration like this, overclock it as far as we can in this configuration before we put the TEC cooler on. Okay, so here's what we finished on here. 5.8 gigahertz on the P cores, and 8200 on DDR5. And idle temperature, 40 Celsius here. So I know this is stable. Stress tested this for 24 hours. So let's do a quick burst here. So we're pulling 250 watts. Package temperature is 80 Celsius. All right, so what we're gonna do next, we're gonna launch a game of Warzone here. We're gonna keep track of the CPU temperature, power usage, and clock speed. Like so, right? Temp, clock speed, power. Then we're gonna keep track of the overall system power draw here. This is without the TEC cooler on. This is just direct die for now. And then we'll just compare before and after. See, right now it's pulling 200 watts to install the damn shaders, right? It's ridiculous. Yeah, this is the first time I've actually launched the game on this system. That actually reminds me, this is another problem that I used to have with the TEC cooler too. So if you were to launch a game like, let's say, The Last of Us, installing shaders on a game like The Last of Us takes like 30 minutes. That will overwhelm the TEC. So, actually, we can try that after. Let's do that too. Yeah, like you'll see. It's like this is a complete dumpster fire of a product. 1440 p. All right, so we're in the usual spot here, and the CPU is pulling about 140 watts. So that should not be a problem for it to cool. Let me see if I can actually find a spot where it pulls more power. Nah, looks like about 140 watts is the most I'm gonna see here. So yeah, like the TEC cooler, 145. The TEC cooler should have no problems cooling this down. So this is kind of the ideal scenario here, right? You would want to use this kind of product in an esports setting, something that doesn't pull too much power on the CPU, right? And then total system power draw in the game here, I guess 560 watts. Yeah, without the TEC cooler, just in a game of Warzone. And then the CPU temps are about 65, 66. I guess there's that little 75 spike there, 69, 75. So something around there. So you might be asking, well, why not just leave it there? Why even dick around with the TEC cooler at all? And you would not be wrong. You would not be wrong. All right, so we've got our base numbers out of the way. So now let's install the TEC on this thing. All right, this already doesn't fit, man. It's just a dumpster fire. Like, there, let me show you. Damn cable. It's hitting the VRM heatsink right here. Come on, man. All right, so this is what I ended up doing. I cut a slit right here on the top right corner so that the wires can come out to the right a bit easier, and then maybe, hopefully I can get it underneath this VRM here. I don't know, we're gonna give it a shot. It doesn't matter, it's a dog shit product anyway. This is just for fun. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at that. That is gorgeous. It's, oh yeah, but that's a tight fit. This is tighter than your sister before she got that gig on my casting couch. Okay, so this is the setup I got going here. It's just, it's a nice thick 360 mil radiator, some thermal, or what are these, Vantex T30s or whatever, something like that. D5 pump. The controller is under here, just whatever. And then there's the TEC. So it's all up and running now. So let's go over here. The overclocks are all exactly the same. I have it in, let's see here. I've got it in cryo mode right now. Cooler is running. So let's just to confirm that it's working. Let's go unregulated. Okay. And then the temperatures should start going down. Right. So I don't want to leave this on like this for too long, but yeah, this will go all the way to whatever below 0, right? Slowly. So it is working. She is working. Let's go. Dew point. Yeah, so see, the cooler temp is below the dew point here. We don't want that, right? Looks like max power draw is about 200 watts as well. So let's put this back into cryo mode. Okay. So next, let's open OCCT, and then let me show you why you can't actually validate your overclocks with this system, right? So hit start. Right, it's gonna pull 250 watts or whatever around there, 240. See, the temperature starts off at 70 or 68, right? And it's just gonna slowly climb up as it overwhelms the TEC cooler. It honestly doesn't even take that long. It's like, what, 31 seconds already, 85, right? What, so, yeah, there it is, there, yeah. There it is. There. So it took 36 seconds to overwhelm the TEC. On that note too, I don't know why EK doesn't make it like the controller box. I don't know why they don't make it 2 8-pins, right? And then maybe let you pull 300 watts out of the TEC. I've actually done that mod myself on the first gen TEC, and it does work really well. The only problem is I burned out the controller by pulling 300 watts out of the aftermarket TEC, right? So the controller wasn't supporting that much power draw, but it does work. It does work. Okay, so now we're gonna launch Warzone. Remember, the overclocks are all exactly the same, 5.8 gigahertz, same everything, but even just in the menu here, it's like 20 Celsius lower on the CPU temp, right? So as long as you can keep the CPU power draw, I want to say below like 170 watts, it's not bad. It's okay, right? Okay, so we're in the game now. We're in the exact same spot as we were before. Now you can actually see that the CPU is pulling about 15 watts less than it was before. The reason why is because the CPU is actually, 25 to 30 Celsius cooler. The cooler that you can keep silicon, the less power that it's going to draw, right? So, but here's the caveat, right? So now we're pulling 745 watts. So that's, yeah, we're pulling 180 watts more power out of the power supply to cool the CPU by 20 Celsius, right? For not really any FPS gain either. So you kind of went from a 850 watt power supply requirement. Now you need a 1,000 watt power supply requirement, right? So far it's useless, right? So let's go see if we can make it useful. Okay, the next test we're gonna do, if you recall earlier, we were talking about the Last of Us shaders, right? So basically, in order for this product to be dailyable, you have to be able to install shaders for any game that might come up, right? Oh, there is no chance. The CPU is pulling 230 watts. Installing the Last of Us shaders, yeah, see? This alone makes this product unusable in a daily driver, right? So what are you gonna do? Every time you wanna install Last of Us shaders, you gotta go back to the BIOS and restore defaults, and then enable your overclocks again after it. That's just not it, man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it crashed, yeah. Yeah, no, that's just not it. Yeah, it's not usable. Okay, so the next test we're gonna try now, all I did was I went into the BIOS and I changed it from 5.8 to 5.9 with the same voltages. I didn't change the voltages at all, right? So the goal here is to see, can we at least get 100 megahertz for free by cooling down the CPU temps as much as we did with the TEC cooler, right? So like, if we're gonna pull, if we're gonna pull 200 watts more to drop the CPU temp, can it at least give us 100 megahertz, right? So we're gonna see if that happens. Yeah, I'm just flying over to the spa right now and it looks good, man. I mean, no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that so far, I guess you can get 100 megahertz for free at the same voltage, right? Which is pretty cool, I suppose, right? But then you're like, well, hey, Jufus, at this point, why not just use a chiller or something, right? Well, chillers are honestly just loud as shit. And like this, can you even hear it? Right? So I feel like maybe like if EK does this again, like the 4th or 5th revision, if they can make it pull like 250 or 300 watts, 2 8-pins, right? And just keep it this quiet, I think they might be onto something here. But then one key thing they have to fix is they have to make it able to turn on in the BIOS. They have to get that working. I mean, yeah, holy shit. I'm not gonna sit here for like 4 hours and make sure, but maybe you might have to bump the voltage a little bit. I'm not sure, but this is pretty cool though, right? It's pretty cool. I haven't touched anything. And she's loving it. She's loving it. Okay, now for the ultimate test. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is change it from 59 to 60. There's no shot this is gonna work. Maybe, you know what? I bet you it would work if the TEC cooler, because it's blinking blue right now, right? But I bet you it would work if the TEC cooler could turn on while the PC was posting to cool down the CPU, right? It might just blue screen here. Yeah, we might have to use XTU. Let's see what happens here. It's just coming up now. There's no way this is gonna work. No way. No, yeah, no. No. Yeah, okay, let's try XTU. Let's try XTU. Okay, so we downloaded XTU. We're still at 1.35 volts. Everything else is the same here. So all we're gonna change is we're gonna go 6 gigahertz. Oh, this one. All cores, apply. I should do it. There, yeah, 6. Okay, now let's launch Warzone and see if it'll hold. All right, 6 gigahertz at the same voltage. So this would technically be kind of 200 megahertz for free if you want to think about it, just from the cooling down the CPU that much. She's loading up. Let's go. Come on. See, you know what the cool thing is about this? When I did 6 gigahertz with the direct die, I needed about 1.43 volts, if I remember correctly, right? Now we're doing it at 1.35 volts. So that's like a 0.7 volt difference. So this is actually way safer than direct die if you're gonna push it this far. It's just, this is way more of a hassle, right? Seems to be working. Look at that. It's fucking sick. Oh, it's actually pulling 146 watts now, 150. Interesting. So it's actually pulling like 20 watts more than 5.8 at the same voltage. That's interesting. Yeah, you probably couldn't go much farther. Yeah, she's holding, man. And just to confirm that it's the same. So we're at, where are we here? Yeah, 1.35. Yeah, it's the same voltage, right? Isn't that insane? So let's go back. Yeah, man, 6 gigahertz. That's sick. That's like, interesting. Yep. I mean, look at that, man. No problems. It's pulling like 15 watts more, but it's still within the range of what the TEC can handle, right? It's cool, dude. Yeah. Look at that. No problems. So now the question I have, do I benchmark my future games at 6 gigahertz, right? Because Intel actually helped EK develop this product, right? So this is kind of like an Intel exclusive product, right? So it's not Intel's problem that AMD doesn't have cryo cooling technology, right? And it would also piss off the fanboys even more, right? Isn't that sick? And I know my memory is already stable because we tuned that before, right? So you can make it work. Now, you might ask, what about The Last of Us shaders? Well, let's try this. So let's go, instead of 6, let's just go to like 4.5 or some shit. Who cares? Apply. And then let's launch Last of Us, right? Yeah, see, so now it's at 4,500. It's still pulling 180 watts, man. So that's quite ridiculous, but I don't think it'll overwhelm the tech now, right? Yeah, it's not going to overwhelm it. So you could daily drive it if you wanted to do it that way. Every time you wanted to install some shaders, lower it down, wait for it to finish, and then when you go play your game, crank it back up, right? But anyway, guys, I hope you learned something in this video, whether you're going to buy this thing or not, and how to set it up properly, and all that good stuff. Don't forget to thank the supporters down below in the comments. And if you like this content, hit that subscribe button. Do all that YouTube SEO stuff. Like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you want to run 6 gigahertz, all core. Don't be poor. Oh, 6.1. Oh, yeah, it didn't crash. You have to run 6.1 or you can't compete. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Talk to you later. Over 9,000, but not really. It's actually below 0. Quantum. Like the dumbest name for a product I've ever heard.